Hey, what is up guys, kolst here. So we have an arena rotation coming in. I'm repeating the same thing I said in another video. So when Unite and Stormwind launches on August 3rd, this is the biggest rotation we've had in a while because, as the topic of this video, something that's happened that has not happened in over a year is coming with this rotation, that Ashes of Outland and Scholomance Academy are finally rotating out because those sets have been in since they were released. So that's what we're talking about right now, is which cards are impactful from these sets that we will not have to deal with anymore. I won't be talking about the cards rotating out from the wild sets because I have an old video on the cards that were rotating in, the wild cards that were rotating in. So I would redirect people to watch that video if they're interested in seeing the wild set cards rotating out. So let's get right into it with Ashes of Outland first. So we'll just go right down the list, class by class. So compared to, I was going over all the older sets, there were a lot of cards you just be like, eh, didn't matter. There's so many impactful cards here. Like almost every card from these sets are impactful because these sets were really strong. So Ashes of Outland, as we'll get into later, had really impactful neutrals as well, but let's just get into this. So some of these cards are in core set as well. Like I think is this core? I don't remember actually, but some of these are in core, so some of these will come back, but I mean, we can just go right down the list. Like so many impactful cards here. The ones that you really think about most, like Netherwalker's core, right? I think that's core. Spectral Sight, pretty impactful. More of these are actually, okay, let me, I should have done this. Let's actually look at core. I'll have a core tab because otherwise it's kind of important, right? Where is the core set? Yeah, so Sigil Runner, Spectral Sight, Battle Lord, indeed those are staying. So actually, that means that Netherwalker is gone. So that's the big one here. It looks like is that Netherwalker. No more big discovered Illidari Inquisitors. That will be nice. Otherwise, not too much that's like super impactful is Skull of Gul'dan in core. It is not. So Skull of Gul'dan will be gone as well. Another big win condition. Coilfang will be gone. Priestess of Fury will be gone. So a lot of these big drops are actually going to be leaving then. But not Illidari Inquisitor because that is core. But you can't pull it out for free with a pick commander. So yeah, those are some pretty big losses for Demon Hunter there. A couple of their really big win conditions. Druid now, so let's see, what is Druid losing? Do they have Bogbeam in core? They do not, so Bogbeam is gone. Mishifin is gone. And, wow, Marsh Hydra is gone? Really? Can it be Marsh Hydra? Wow, yeah, Marsh Hydra is gone. So Druid of the Plains will still be in, but Marsh Hydra, the big win condition, is gone. That is a big one. Because that was really part of the reason, especially recently, there's been a bug where epics are super common. If you're not aware of why every druid seems to have Marsh Hydra, that's why. So we're going to be going from druids having all the Marsh Hydras to no Marsh Hydras. That's going to be quite the change. Next we move on to Hunter. Is Felma core? Felma is not core, so Felma is gone. Pack Tactics is gone. Pack Tactics is gone. Otherwise, nothing super impactful from an arena perspective. I guess the Lion being gone is that's pretty impactful. So a lot of that Death Rattle synergy being lost, and the Grand Slam being lost. So again, you're seeing way more of these, and you could see it with Primordial Protector a lot. But normally you wouldn't see this a lot because it's an epic. But I guess that's not the case right now. And those are the big ones really being lost for Hunter. Next we have Mage. For Mage, Solarian is a big loss because you would get it off of Primordial Studies. But Primordial Studies, are we Primordial Studies is Scholomance, right? Yeah, so you would often get it off of Primordial Studies. But Primordial Studies is also gone, so you know, not like you're gonna be discovering it off of studies either. But otherwise, some impactful things are This is the first dormant. The big one is that all of the dormants, well, not all of them, because they've been printing some more dormants, but basically all the big broken dormants from the original rotation are finally going to be gone from Ashes of Outland. So one of the big ones, of course, being Imprisoned Observer. That is a huge one. And Netherwind Portal as well. So you're going to probably expect to not really need to play around secrets, because you never really see a lot of counter spells. There is going to be a lot of secret synergy, so maybe people will draft counterspell, but you know, this makes it a lot less likely that you need to worry about spell interaction from mage, and a couple other decent cards like Deep Freeze being gone as well. But probably the biggest ones here being Solarian off of Studies and Imprisoned Observer. Those are really the big losses here for mage. Moving on to Paladin. If it wasn't for the nerf, we would jump and say, wow, Hand of Adal being gone, but Hand of Adal hasn't been super big since it was nerfed. It's still a pickable card, but you know, not what it used to be. Sungill being gone from the 1-mana, the random 1-drop pool is actually kind of significant, because that would be a thing sometimes. But yeah, McGurgle as well being gone, Angling Rod being gone, just one of those weapons you aren't supposed to get because it's an epic, but you could occasionally high roll into. Really deceptively strong weapon. And a good amount of the Libram stuff is gone, including Libram of Justice. So Libram of Justice being one of those really big board clears. So it used to be you could get that in one card. Now if you want that effect, you basically need to get don't know if Barov is leading. Oh yeah, I need to double check the the core sets to make sure we're aware, but yeah, none of these are core. So if you want to get this effect, you actually have to spend 2 cards on it. You have to do like, you know, Equality, or so it is Scholomance. So Barov is gone. Yeah, you can't even Barov. You have to have like Equality plus something. And it's harder too, because there's no Aug Merchants, so the pings are going to be harder to get. So Paladins are going to be much worse at swinging boards. And they can't even swing kind of through a Libram of Hope either. So yeah, Paladins are going to be a bit less flexible in that way. They are gaining a lot of control tools, so they're going to have to... I think you will see more control Paladins, but they're not going to be able to like just ignore the board and then swing it. They're going to have to like not fall too far behind, basically. Next we have Priest. So Priest is Renew core. Renew is gone. Ooh, nice. Renew is gone. Their Dormant as well is gone. Apotheosis is no, it's not core. Okay. Apotheosis is gone. Not that you really see it after it got nerfed. And Psyche Split. And I haven't seen a lot of Psyche Splits. I actually forgot this card was even in the game right now. Overseer. I like Overseer being gone. Overseer was just kind of a nasty snowball card sometimes. Veil Weaver, another snowball card. Skeletal Dragon, another one. And Soul Mirror. So Priest in this set is losing a lot. That is a really large number of big losses for Priest. Of course, they are getting they're getting Plague of Death, so they're getting Plague of Death and Mass Hysteria, so they're still gonna have, you know, mass board clears, but not Soul Mirror, not discovered Soul Mirror off of Renew. So yeah. Moving on to Rogue. Rogue is losing some losses. Is Ambush in core? Let's just look over what's in core. Not too much from this set, so a lot of these cards, Spy Mistress and Ambush are pretty big losses. Kanar potentially, and otherwise not too much except Cursed Vagrant. Cursed Vagrant is a huge loss. Because like pretty much since Cursed Vagrants existed, your ideal rogue deck would always just be topped out by a Cursed Vagrant or Proto Drake, and Proto Drake is also leaving, so rogues are going to look quite a bit different. They're either going to have to go slower or faster, probably. I'm guessing they'll go faster, naturally, but we will see. Moving on to Shaman. Shaman, Marshspawn, extremely big loss. You can't get Vosh. They're losing Studies as well, but you know, you can't get Vosh off of Studies. That's more important than usually drafting the Vosh. Serpent Shrine Portal, huge loss as well. Torrent, huge loss. A lot of huge losses here, actually. Reflection, decent loss. Knuckles. Oh, Knuckles is gone, so you can't do the Knuckles into tiny toys. What would be so insane about the Knuckles into tiny toys is that if you were to get the mortuary machine off of tiny toys, then you could just evolve it immediately. But nope, that doesn't exist. So I think you can still revolve it, right? You can still revolve it, I think. Unless Revolve is also leaving. Revolve isn't in this set, is it? Let's just double check. It's not. So I think Revolve is still in, but that's how you would have to. And then you could just roll back into it again, which would be hilarious. Vivid Spores is another one of those really big snowball cards. Lurker Below is a pretty big loss. Rumble is a pretty big loss. So yeah, this was a really good set for Shaman. Shaman's losing a lot here. They're losing a lot of their dominance in turn 3, particularly as well. So that may change. That may change. You know, Shamans might start to feel actually significantly different with this. Let's move on to Warlock. So Warlock is, if you watch my video on the most oppressive, aka basically toxic cards in Hearthstone, two of the cards in the top 5 were right in front of us right here, which were Shadow Council and Scrap Imp. Cards that win the game by themselves on really early turns way more often than any card should. So those two cards being gone is going to make Warlock pretty much guaranteed to be a lot healthier. At least one of them was an epic, you know, but you could get this off Wand Maker and yeah. But yeah, those are, without even looking at the rest of the cards, those are definitely going to be the biggest losses. But as well, Caladan, big losses in the Legendary bucket, and Enhanced Dreadlord being a huge loss because a lot of control. Warlocks would be built around, you know, trying to survive and stabilize off of an Enhanced Dreadlord. So just through these 3 cards, really, that's going to really change the feel of Warlock quite a lot. Warlock, it looks like it's going to be a lot more based around like demons and stuff, demon synergy potentially. So we'll see how that feels. And then the last class here, as always on the list as we're sorting by these, is Warrior. So Warrior, again, losing their OP Imprisoned card as well, Imprisoned Gnarg. It would be very nice to play Arena without Imprisoned Gnarg for the first time in a year. But otherwise losing some pretty decent cards. They're losing Bladestorm, but they will have Warpath back. So there's that. But otherwise, some decent cards. Challenger could be pretty nuts sometimes. Losing Raider, losing Brute. So losing a fair number of their rush and interaction options here. They're losing a lot of initiative here, so that's pretty significant for Warrior. Just not really any of these individual cards, but just kind of the loss, except for this, but just the general loss of initiative. They're definitely going to be missing that, I think. And then we will go over to neutrals, and this is really the big part of this set. I think even more than any of the class cards, besides maybe the Dormants, is the loss of the neutrals here, because this was one of the most biggest impactful neutral sets ever printed, really. So as we go down the list here, all the Og Merchants gone, Vile Fiend gone, Brawler gone, a lot of really good staple 3-drops gone, Scorpid gone, not Venomous Scorpid unfortunately, Rustied Raider gone, Shavara gone, Skystalker gone, Vanguard, Bonesharer Vanguard gone, Scrapyard Colossus gone. A lot of really impactful neutrals that have been, frankly, the staple of Arena for a really long time. This would be really what's going to feel different now with the loss of all of these cards. It doesn't look any of those are core, so all of those are indeed gone. And then, so last, we will go over the cards rotating out through Scholomance Academy. Anyway, yeah, let's go to Scholomance. So there really weren't a lot of core sets, core cards, except for Demon Hunter, right? Maybe that's just a Demon Hunter thing, because like it was basically all Demon Hunter cards, and that's just because they have less cards, right? So really the core set stuff was really just significant for Demon Hunter. So just double check the list here. Demon Companion is gone. Kreen is gone. That's a big legendary loss. Trim Crescent is gone. Mage Hunter is gone. Marrow Slicer is gone. So a lot of their soul fragments energy. Is this like all the soul fragment stuff? I guess it is, huh? Yeah, so like all the soul fragment stuff is leaving as well. Vilefiend Trainer, is that... Vilefiend Trainer as well is gone, so a lot of Outcast cards leaving as well. Demon Hunter losing a lot. They're losing Voidhound as well. I think, oh, they're losing Philosophy even. They're losing Cycle of Hatred. That is another big one. So wow, yeah. And they're losing like all the soul fragment stuff. Oh, these are at the end just because they're dual class. So yeah, all the like soul fragment stuff is leaving. Demon Hunter is losing a lot. Cycle probably being... They were losing a lot in this set too. Losing Coilfang, losing Skull, losing Cycle. Wow, yeah. Demon Hunter is getting butchered here, actually. There's a lot of really good Demon Hunter cards. A lot of the reasons Demon Hunter feels nuts is because of these particular cards too. Demon Hunter is probably going to feel a lot worse. Even if it's still like, you know, obviously balance is determined by microadjust, so it might not be that catastrophic for them. It shouldn't be because it can always be rebalanced, but yeah, Demon Hunter is going to feel very, very different from these sets rotating out. Alright, so moving on to Druid, so Nature Studies, as well as all the other Studies cards. So those are leaving, which means Draconic Studies is leaving. Draconic Studies is leaving! Less Use Arrows. So in addition to that, Twilight Runner gone, Groundskeeper gone, Runic Carving's gone, Teacher's Pet gone, Adorable Infestation gone, Survival of the Fittest gone. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, Druid is losing a lot here. A lot of these cards are the reason why Druid can feel so oppressive when they get ahead is because of cards like these. So yeah, they are losing a lot here as well. Move on to Hunter. I need to keep in mind, so some of these cards that are dual class, they're not going to be repeated. So like this is a Hunter card as well. We need to keep in mind these dual class cards because they won't show up twice on the list. That's why the Hunter list is so small. So Hunter losing Carrion Studies. Overwhelm. Overwhelm was a really nice swing card sometimes. Wolpertinger, very good curve card, especially with some of the Death Rattle synergy they have as well. Losing Slate, losing Bark Stripper, and then losing some of these really good Adorable Infestation Teacher's Pet as well. Hunter losing a lot. Scholomance Academy was just a really good set, so like a lot of classes are going to be losing a lot here. There's just a lot of tempo options from Hunter really getting evaporated here. Moving on to Mage. Mage is getting wrecked here too. Probably the biggest one initially that you see here, Firebrand. Oh wow, and Devolving Missiles. Well, that's gonna be crazy actually, because Shaman is still gonna have Hex, but you know, Mage lost Polymorph from Standard because it's not in the core set. But you're always like, well, at least you can get Devolving Missiles off of Wandmaker, or get, you know, draft Devolving Missiles discovered somehow. But now you don't even have Devolving Missiles, so Mage can no longer really silence stuff. But now there's going to be neutral silences, I guess, so maybe it's not the biggest deal, but Devolving Missiles is gone, Brain Freeze gone, Firebrand gone, Combustion gone, Wand Thief gone, Andis gone, Ross gone, Primordial Studies gone, Poor Trick Totem. Wouldn't last long enough in this world. The world was too good for Trick Totem, it's okay. Trick Totem will be in a happier place. But yeah. Mage, again, losing a lot. Moving on to Paladin. Paladin losing First Day of School, not too big a loss anymore. The biggest losses here. I'm just going to go over like the really big losses because there's like so many, there's so many good cards here, but less in this class. This wasn't relatively as good of a class for as good of a set for Paladin. The biggest losses here are Argent Braggart, which was an epic, so you wouldn't see it too much until the epic bug. But it's just stupidly busted cards. Goody 2 Shields, really busted card. Barov, one of the ways to potentially board clear, although you wouldn't see this very much. Blessing of Authority, just crazy busted card. And Turleon, one of the biggest, one of the most busted legendaries as well. Even though you would often just see this off of like a random 8-drop, Discover off of like Marsh Hydra, which is also leaving, so more than you would actually see this from Paladin, but yeah. So a few really heavy hitter cards being lost, but generally, honestly, Paladin not losing too much compared to a lot of the other classes, relatively speaking. Moving on to a class which it does seem like is losing quite a bit as well, is Priest. So Priest is losing Raised Dead. That was a really good Raised Dead was very good for just smoothing out curve and just otherwise generating value, activating your Brittle Bone. Not that that's going to be an issue anymore as Brittle Bone is leaving. Chronic Studies, of course, one of the huge win the game potential cards here, being rotated out. Harwood Feast from a tempo side. If you don't want to just win with Ysera, you can, you know, win by tempo. This was an incredibly good card for that. And a couple situational cards here, and Initiation is a huge loss. So some of the good targets for Initiation are leaving anyway because Elephant is leaving, right? So is Elephant leaving? I don't think Elephant is leaving. So yeah, like the fact that you can't initiate an Elephant anymore, pretty significant. So moving on to Rogue. Rogue losing Secret Passage. This card wasn't super big in Darkmoon Fair. Right, yeah. So Elephant is still in. Yeah, Corrupt is still in. Someone in chat earlier said Corrupts were gone, but yeah, they're not gone. So Self-Sharpening Sword. No more getting memed by this. Not that you would ever... Not that this ever happened, really, but... Can't get memed by this. Volpera being gone is pretty big, because that was a thing you always would think about. Shifty Sophomore no longer able to, Shifty Sophomore no longer giving you the legendary that copies the last card your opponent played. Coerce is gone. That's gonna make... So they're losing Coerce. They're getting, Walk the Plank, though, so they are kind of replacing this. Although Walk the Plank's a lot worse, it's still, you know... A lot of times they'll do the same thing. And some of the weapon synergies, well, Krasnov being gone, we'll keep that in mind for Warrior as well, so... Well, they can't. Athletic Studies, because Studies is also gone. But yeah, so a lot of actual weapon synergy being lost here for Rogue. Again, like, they are losing some stuff. Like, Sophomore is probably the worst loss, honestly. Well, and Coerce. But losing less than some of the other classes, I would say here. Next is Shaman. Shaman had a lot of these dual class cards, so we have to try to remember what those were. But Note Taker, decent loss. Fireheart being one of the big legendary losses. They're losing Fireheart and they're losing the 6 mana 3 damage legendary as well. Losing Totem Goliath. I believe they lost Totemic Reflection as well in the other sets, so it's not the biggest loss, I guess. Lurker below, indeed. And they are losing Tidal Wave, so you're not going to see this anymore. So again, like some of the dual class cards they were losing, they lost, like, let's try to look, but like, so the Primordial Studies was one of the big ones. Oh, we forgot for Rogue. Rogue's also losing Jandis. That's actually a big one. Shaman's also losing Rust Frost Whisper. Rogue is also losing Wand Thief. Actually, with Wand Thief, that's a really big loss for... That's not as big of a loss for Mage, but that's a really big loss for Rogue. As is Brain Freeze, actually. Shaman losing Devolving Missiles, so their ability to silence is not going to be quite as consistent as it was. Yeah. Shaman also losing Runic Carvings and Ghidra. Yeah, Rogue and Shaman actually losing a bit more than I had initially thought. And then Warlock. So Warlock here, we'll go back up and look at the class cards. But honestly, this was a relatively weak set for Warlock. They basically, you can see the class cards are basically just the Soul Fragment cards, which were okay, but not amazing. Losing Demonic Studies. And that's it. So basically, then they are losing some class cards. So they lost Raised Dead, I know. They lost Raised Dead. They lost Gambling. Gambling was much more of a loss for them, actually, than it was for Priest. Losing Brittle Bone, of course, pretty big loss. And I guess some of the dual class should be in the, in the Demon Hunter section, so just more Soul Fragment stuff, really, so yeah. Warlock actually not losing too much here. Warlock. This is probably the least any class is losing so far out of this set. Scholomance was not really a great set for Warlock. You know which class it was a good set for? Warrior. Warrior losing crazy amount here, actually. Every card we're looking at here is extremely, extremely strong. Flag Studies, huge loss. Information, decent loss. Playmaker for all those rush synergies, huge loss. Reaper's Scythe, that AoE that could just cheese games by itself, gone. One of the most crazy late game cards ever printed. Troublemaker, gone. Can't get Troublemaker off of random 8-drop generations either. Because Marsh Hydra is also gone, but you could still get it off of like Druid's summon an 8-mana spell. 8-mana minion spell, so you can't get it off of there anymore either. Also important. And Ralgor is well gone. And just off the top of my head, let's look up some of these class cards. They are losing Coerce, Krastenov, Steel Dancer could be a good card for them. Kind Class, good card for them, potentially in the right deck. Not always, but could be a good card. Yeah, Warrior's getting destroyed. I guess that's it, huh? Yeah. Warrior losing a lot here. I will say I'm pretty happy to see no more Troublemaker though. That would be lovely. And then last but not least, we look over the neutrals. So some pretty impactful neutrals here. No more abuse from Penflanger. Fortunately, Broom being gone. Huge. That's just something that just won't be there anymore. That's a big one. Otherwise, so all the ghost cards are gone, which we'll talk about them as they get them, as we get down there, but you know, all the cards that have the spectral copies. So Delinquent gone. Transfer Student. Oh, Transfer Student's gone. Oh, that's funny. Right? So this is like the only week we can actually play with the, at least for now, that we can actually play with the tradable Transfer Student, because then it's going to be gone. That's kind of funny. Wandmaker gone. Oh, the Sphere of Sapience is gone, which is actually kind of important for the weapon low rolls. You can get like there's like the new Paladin weapon discover, and you still have Pack Kodo, right? So that whiff is gone. So that's pretty significant for those cards, actually. Voracious Reader gone, Hothead gone. Just a lot of really good cards. Fishy Flyer gone. One of the Divine Shield hits for Varian. Is Varian the or no, it's not Varian, it's whatever the other legendary is, the one where you need a Divine Shield minion to get Divine Shield Rush Taunt. That's a miss. Or that's a loss for there. Lake Threshers can no longer be claw machined, and you couldn't broom it anyway, so this one's gone. So you're losing Lake Thresher and you're losing the Warrior Cleave. There's really just not going to be... Is there any cleave then? There's like no cleave, huh? Like all cleave is just gone now. Okay. That's interesting. Steward of Scrolls. Big loss for... Especially for Mage. Steward being a pretty big loss, but generally speaking, just as a value option. Talking about other value options. Mage Scribe and Smug Senior again also being gone. Alabaster, one of the big high roll legendaries, gone. And that is true, Rabbit Cleave is still there. That is true. And Proto Drake. Big Daddy Proto Drake is gone. So yeah. A lot of stuff. Scholomance. So yeah. Between both of these sets, man, the loss of a lot of these neutrals, especially in Ashes of Outland and Scholomance Academy, and just Scholomance Academy class cards is, in general, the dormants in Ashes of Outland is just a huge change to the meta. So this will be quite an exciting time for Arena, because it's going to feel way more different than it has since at least a year ago, if not even longer. This is probably going to be one of the biggest changes that Arena's ever gone through, like really ever, honestly. So this will be quite exciting. And if you're excited as well, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section and like and subscribe and all those things. So yeah, that's about it though. Thanks a lot for hanging out, everyone on Twitch, and of course you guys on YouTube. You will yeah, have a lot of fun with these new changes as they come out on August 3rd, which is less than a week away as of recording this and as of posting this on YouTube. So yeah, thanks a lot again. We will see you guys next time.